Good morning and welcome to the AM show, which today will focus on the 2022 budget. As has been the convention in the last few years, the finance minister will be going to Parliament before the end of the year to put before the legislature the next year's budget. That is usually preceded by consultations with various groups who make inputs. Graphic Business and Stanbic Bank have also in the last few years organized these breakfast meetings regularly, with some of them focused on insights and recommendations for the budget. There's one happening this morning, and it is focusing on exactly that. Enjoy News will bring you live coverage here on the AM show. The speakers include Dr. Priscilla Chumesi Bafo, Senior Lecturer, Department of Economics, University of Ghana, Dr. Randolph Inso Ambala, Financial Consultant and Senior Lecturer, GIMPA, and then Dr. Abdullah Ali Nachia, Senior Lecturer, School of Law, University of Ghana. There's been a number of interesting contests in the prelims of the National Science and Maths quiz, with some upsets being recorded. I'm excited my alma mater, Ecobank School, has made it through to the 1-8 stage. Did your school make it? We'll bring you a playback of some of the contests. Jojo Kobna will also be speaking to us about his latest documentary, Finding the Witch Hunters. It's a harrowing tale of how women and men are pronounced witches in their communities and tortured and even sometimes killed simply because someone suspects that you're a witch. The real problem, though, is why some of the perpetrators of these acts go unpunished. Stay tuned in. This is the AM show. I'm Mr. Lai. Why don't we begin with some of the NSMQ contests?
Ecobank School has qualified for the 1-8 stage of the ongoing National Science and Maths quiz in Kumasi. It was a close shave, a narrow escape for them. Many of them are excited that they've qualified for the next stage. Come to me. What's your name?
My name is Chancellor Tivia Mia.
Okay, tell me.
We really knew we would win because as our motto goes, Semper Primus. And we always believe God's word that says, even though horses and chariots are prepared for battle, victory comes from the Lord. And it has really worked for us, and you know.
Are you the SU president?
No, I'm not the SU president.
Okay, then we are quoting the scriptures. Anyway. Okay, great. But at the point you guys were sitting on tenterhooks because you just beat them by 3 points. Okay.
You are led by the Spirit.
This is the deputy SU president.
At first, it wasn't that easy, but once they were there, we were praying, and the Holy Spirit led us.
But what does the NSMQ mean to you, students? What does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. It feels like an achievement, just being on the platform to experience this. It's a great experience, and I'm just so happy that my school, my school, Semper Primus, we made it this far, and we know that we are bringing the cup.
Posterity will be looking unto us for something good to all.
Ghana Senior High School in Koforidua, they've qualified for the 1-8 stage now. They took an early lead and maintained their lead throughout the competition. Oforipeni Senior High School and Xavier Senior High School, they were not a match for them.
We're not really excited because we have much more ahead to do, and then we hope for the best in the future.
Okay, so 50 points is not enough for you?
We can still make more points by preparing, and then...
Okay, so you're saying you could have done better than 50 points? Yeah. I know your old students made a lot of investment in this. Yeah. How are they helping the team?
They are doing very great by providing us with the ICT tools and then the router for our research works. We are very grateful, and then I think this will be something that will actually be a form of a gratitude to them.
Okay. The teacher is saying you should call for more. You should call for more. Oliver Twist.
Okay, so we still need their help. We want them to invest more because we are capable of doing something very good in the future.
We are well prepared. You can see we are wearing white. It's not coincidence. We were well prepared for the competition. Yes, we were prepared for the. We knew that
this is victory.
Yes, victory.
In Kumasi, you wear white.
Yes, the teachers. We all wear white. Yes, we all wear white.
So on the day you wear white and doesn't go, what did you change into black?
We take it like that.
Take it like that. Okay. Going to be muddy and rough from the 1-8 stage when we have the 27 seeded schools joining. Senior high school are confident and hopeful that they'll definitely get there. Why this Osibisa song and not any other song?
Because this song has a very powerful incarnation on our lives. It gingers us whenever we sing it, and God, through God's grace, we are going to do it once more again and again, and we are expecting them to watch us live at Kumasi. We are bringing power.
Okay, so are you guys going to sing this song after every contest that you win?
Yes, please, for sure.
Okay, so what if you lose? What song do you sing?
We are not going to lose.
Okay.
Yes, we are going to sing it. Yes.
My name is Osman Sarin Fred, Assistant Headmaster Academic.
Okay.
We are very happy for the old students. They've done a yeoman's job as far as this contest is concerned. Okay. They have been very supportive from day one, and we appreciate their effort. And we hope that they are going to continue to support the team so that the team will be able to win the final situation. That is our target, and we know that definitely we will win. The skies are limit. We thank the old students very well. We are very, very happy.
You're going to sing this song after?
Yeah, we continue singing this song because we know that definitely we will win.
Okay.
We are prepared towards it.
Okay.
They've invested in this competition. Okay. That's why we are doing very, very well. Okay. And it's a shock to the other schools. Okay. We are going to Kumasi and we are going to show them where the power is. Yes, we are going to win at Kumasi. So they should look for us. We are coming. We are coming. We are coming. We are coming.
What we're seeing is excitement from the boys, past and present students of the St. James Minor Seminary. They just won their contest for the day. Congratulations, congratulations.
Fine, thank you, fine, thank you.
How was it? I mean, when the contest was ongoing, in fact, at the third round, all of you scored 0. That should have put you in some bit of a tight corner, no?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. In the beginning, we were afraid, and they deviated from the question. That's why you all got 0. But, you know, as St. James, as the Spirit said, with sincerity, fidelity, and perseverance, we always conquer. And we knew we were going to conquer.
And you did conquer eventually. Good, but talk to me about your performance, really. You are winning with less than 40 points. And St. James is supposed to be one of the biggest schools in the bonus zone. And you're winning with what? Less than 40 points. That's not so encouraging, is it?
That is it. It's very encouraging because, you know, the competition, it was very competitive. And for that matter, you know, sometimes getting the bonuses and other things is a problem. So we did well. You know, we congratulate the boys. They've really done well.
Oh, when we started the contest, we were all panicking due to the training and other stuff they've had at school. But when they started the first round, that's the fundamental concept. They were showing up. And our spirits rekindled. So we had vim, and we knew we were going to win at the end.
Did you really know that you're going to win? It came down to the last round for you to win.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we had the vim and the vigor.
Now, St. James has been ranked best senior high school in the country for a couple of times. And you're in the league of the Presex, the Prempers, the Adesadels, and Fansipims and the rest. Those schools, in Fansipim, for instance, won by 69 points. You are winning by 38 points.
Right, so if we take St. James, for example, we're quite new to this National Science and Maths quiz, right? So now we're starting to groom learners from early stage of their schooling, from first year through to third year. And this is a process, you know, it's not an event. So we are in the process of grooming them, conscientizing them, and also bringing people with, you know, resources to help them grow. So we promise to the nation that give us 5 more years, you see St. James up there. Just as we're conquering the whole West Africa, we're conquering the world in the 5 years to come.
So what? They're saying we should give them 5 years, and they are going to register.
From next year.
right, so you saw the NSMQ contests at the prelims and the schools that have made it through so far. There are a number of contests still yet to come, and we'll be anticipating all of that. But the Ecobank Journeys Habitat Fair, that ended yesterday at the Accra International Conference Center. 5 days of great shopping deals. And we're bringing you a recap of that. Hannah Dami was there to recap it all. Stay tuned in for that.
When I was coming in as to whether to buy or to rent and own or whatever it is. But I'm so convinced now that I have to buy.
And that's how the dilemma on whether to build or to buy was settled at the Ecobank Joy News Habitat Fair. 5 days of getting everything for your housing needs under one roof. And the patrons say they've been spoiled for choice.
We are putting up a place and we want to finish it, so we are looking at and coming here. You know, it's not easy to get all the people under one place. And when we came, we were able to talk to people and then we got information. I have few offers and then, so I think you are a friend and you are doing very well and I'm happy about it.
I'm looking at the hardware, the bathroom accessories coming up. So I just wanted to just look at some of them and see if I can enroll it onto my works that I'm doing now.
For the CCTV, I need it for my school and then also the borehole. I took advantage of it and also the paints. And also, like, my school is in the waterlogged area, so I was having challenges with dumping. So I spoke to one company in that area and then they gave me products that are going to help me. So it's been good.
No, it's the best, but that's why I'm here. Because I knew if I come here, I'll get everything that I would need for my project. So I think I'm okay. Sure. If I tell people say they'll give me 10%, 50%, if I should get in touch. So I've taken the contact, I've always get in touch with them to take advantage of the promotion going on.
And the discounts on their products saw the exhibitors smiling to the many clients who trooped to their stands.
So it has been a wonderful experience. In fact, we've had a lot of traffic at our stand here. I must commend Joy FM for this initiative. It's been good. We've got a lot of people coming to our stand to know more about us and want to do business with us. So we are happy and it's worthwhile coming.
It's been very good, as a matter of fact. We've had a lot of patronage, and I think our promotions and discounts, which you publicize a lot, is what everybody's interested in. So we're offering $5,000 off anybody that for anything you buy with us, and if you lock it in. And so far, we ran out of one of our limits, but we're still extending it.
This fair was a good place to be at, so that we can connect with homeowners and builders and see what we could do. And I mean, the fair gave us the opportunity to be able to do that network, and I've enjoyed my time here, and I'm looking forward to next year's.
For now, the fair is over, but the offers and the deals still exist, and the exhibitors are waiting for your call. From the Accra International Conference Center, I am Hannah Odami for Joy News.
Right, so the other exciting thing that came out of the Ecobank Joy News Habitat Fair is that there's another one happening, this time in Kumasi. So those of you who are in Kumasi, be on the lookout for that. It's happening apparently before the end of this month. So that's going to be happening. We're taking a short break here on the AM show. We'll be back to bring you the news review. If the camera will just take care of her, she's doing some dance moves on the back of that song. Okay.
I was enjoying that song. I think it's wonderful. It's
a nice track. Yeah. And thank you for joining us. And you're looking.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
You're looking beautiful as always.
Thank you. I know. Don't say it. Don't say it. Let people just let it sink in for people. Don't say it.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the news review. The newspapers. You're going to start with the Daily Graphic, right? You have the Daily Graphic.
So I have to.
Oh, and we have Akable, Joseph Akable. He's joining us via Zoom. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Izzy.
Yeah, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Joseph. Good to see you.
He just crossed over. How are you doing?
He's supposed to be a baby lawyer, right?
Yes, he's a lawyer, a great lawyer in the making.
Yeah.
Yes.
Baby lawyer, how are you?
I'm doing well.
All right, so should we start?
Okay, yes. Araba will start with the
Ghana's graphic.
Yes.
Daily Graphic. Mm-hmm. And the big one there, Parliament has no locus. 499 School of Law admissions. Parliament has no locus. That's according to the Attorney General, and his picture is on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Also on the front page, family NDC to mark JJ's first anniversary. Wow, how time flies.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I mean,
all of a sudden it's been a year.
12 months, almost 12 months since. Oh, wow. Interesting. Also, go for your COVID-19 jabs, so don't. That's according to the Ghana Health Service. They're urging people to go for their jabs. And fatal accident pushes back rail shuttle resumption. That's on the front page of the Daily Guide. On the back page of the Daily Guide, we have 17 killed in road accident. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Daily Graphic. 17 killed in road accident near Kumasi. That was yesterday around Offenso. We brought you that on Joy News. 17 people dead, and I think
and there were 10 children in there.
10 children, yeah, and a lot more others also injured. So they said that, I mean, preliminary investigations show that the driver, one of the drivers, must have been sleeping, which is very, very sad. I mean, so needless. 17 lives just lost at a go. Okay, so let's go through this paper, and on page 3 of the Daily Graphic, it has that story that started on page 1 about the Attorney General saying that Parliament has no locus over, you know, the 499 School of Law admissions matter. And it reads, the story is by Nana Kunedu Ajiman, and it reads, Parliament has no locus to direct the General Legal Counsel on the admission of applicants to the Ghana School of Law. The Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Mr. Godfred Yeboadame, has said. He says the provisions of Article 32 empower the executive through the minister responsible for the GLC and not the legislature to direct and advise the council on major national issues, including the admission of students. And it quotes, while recognizing the general legislative powers of Parliament in Ghana, except as have been circumscribed by the Constitution, I'm constrained to advise that Parliament is devoid of power through the use of parliamentary resolutions to control the processes of admission to the Ghana School of Law. So you can read, it goes on, talks about the parliamentary directive and the fact that the Parliament lacks capacity, and he also goes on to set the record straight. So that story is on page 1 and page 3 of the Daily Guide. Let's turn to other stories, and perhaps you can go to page 16. Yes, page 16 of the Daily Graphic is talking about how people should go for their COVID-19 jabs. And it says the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and the health partners are more than ever determined to stop the spread of COVID-19 and reduce the impact it has had on the lives of people living in Ghana. And Israel, you're a COVID-19 ambassador. I mean, now we're getting more vaccines.
The vaccines, yeah.
Exactly. So are we still seeing vaccine hesitancy? Are people refusing to go for the jabs?
There's some vaccine hesitancy, but I believe it will be overcome at some point because there are people who are also eager to get the vaccines. And I know the Ghana Health Service says they're going to put out the places where you can go for the jabs. It's essentially, they're saying that all public hospitals will have some of the jabs so they can vaccinate people.
Right.
From Friday, I believe that should be available. I think the Kumasi has received this consignment already. And so you can expect that it will be available. Please, when the jabs are available in your hospitals, please go for them. I have been vaccinated. Arabakum Singh has also been vaccinated. Yes. Virtually everybody at Multimedia has had their jabs. So when it's your turn, or when it becomes available, please go for them so that you can protect yourself. Yes, we need that so that we can get some herd immunity. Then we can be free. Then we can all take off our mask and feel free.
Exactly, and that's what Dr. Patrick Boaji, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, has been saying. He said that the Health Service has started the second phase of the National COVID-19 deployment plan targeted at the entire population. Right. You know, initially it was, at, target
specific groups.
Exactly. But now it's the entire population, except people under 18 and expectant mothers who will be catered for later. So please, please, please go for the jabs. We're still on the Daily Graphic, and we're turning to page 20, which has the story of family NDC to mark JJ's first anniversary. And the story is by Mary Anane Amponsa. And she says, Friday, November 12, 2021, will be exactly a year since former President Jerry John Rawlings passed on to eternity. To mark the anniversary, the family of the former president has announced that there'll be a remembrance mass at the Holy Spirit Cathedral at Dabraka in Accra on that day. The remembrance mass, according to a statement signed by former aide to the ex-president, Kobina Ando Amwakwa, would begin at 9 a.m. with the dress code being white. Although the public was invited to the ceremony, it said seating would be on a first-come, first-served basis, as the cathedral will host a limited number of congregants due to COVID-19 pandemic restrictions. Also on page 20, Dr. Bawumia opens FinTech Festival tomorrow. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will tomorrow deliver the keynote address at the inaugural Standard Chartered Digital Banking Innovation and FinTech Festival at the Kempinski Hotel in Accra. Dr. Bawumia is expected to outline the government's plan to make Ghana the true digital hub of Africa with a robust digitized financial technology ecosystem. So get the Daily Graphic. Details of that are on page 20. Let's go to the middle pages of the Daily Graphic. And this is a very disturbing story. About 112,800 teenage girls are impregnated every year, Israel. They're just getting busy. Busy. It's such a worry.
They're supposed to be getting busy with their studies.
Busy with their studies, eh?
But of course, they're also
Come on,
the men.
my face. Let me talk to them. Instead of getting busy with your studies, you're getting busy elsewhere. Please focus on your studies, okay?
Okay, so
education always pays.
Direct another one to the men who are getting them pregnant.
You direct it to them.
Please stay away from the young girls. Let them concentrate on their studies. But a lot of the time, you also get to understand that they get into these things for economic reasons. Because they need some money, and these people offer help to them. And next thing you know, they get them. They sleep with them and get them impregnated. That's hopefully this country will be in a much better place so that we can take better care of some of our young ones.
Okay, yeah. So that story is by Shirley Asiedu Ado in Cape Coast, and this was at the commemoration of this year's Africa Youth Day in Cape Coast in the Central Region on the theme Safeguarding Our Teenage Girl, a clarion call to action. Also on the center page, Ghana places third in cybersecurity in Africa. And Ghana placed third on the Global Cybersecurity Index in Africa, behind Mauritius and Tanzania, with a score of 86.69%, covering the period 2019 to 2020. Good for them. Good for them. So those and many more stories are in the Daily Graphic for you. Israel, what do you have?
All right, I would want to go to Joseph, who's on Zoom. Joseph, which of the papers do you have?
I'll do just the Finder.
All right, so bring us the Finder.
So the front page has this story about affordable housing bonds that can reduce the cost of mortgages that is coming from a banker. Then there's also, would this end it all or another exercise in futilities? The question that is being asked about that proposed private members bill that will be coming to Parliament by South MP, Oxen Nelson Dafiamapo. 17 dead in accident on Kumasi Tichiman Road. We shared details a while ago. And all set for Bawumia's public lecture on digital economy today. That is at the Ashesi University. And MTN accounts for 87.48% of total trade on GSE in third quarter. And informal waste workers raise alarm as the ban on tricycles on Tema motorway takes off. It's also on the front page of the Finder newspaper. Some stories that are within. So on page 8 has that story about affordable housing bonds that can reduce the cost of mortgages. And we know we've been talking about housing a lot in the last couple of weeks with the Joy News Habitat Fair, where people have obtained various solutions that have been put out there. And so this other story about the private members bill, which we know is on page 5 of the Finder newspaper. It gives some details, talks a bit about the bill and what stage it is currently. Then the story about, you remember the Mercedes-Benz driver? It's on page 4 of the Finder newspaper. The gentleman who was drifting the car. Yeah. A lot of the papers and portals describe him as a reckless driver, but he's been fined 1,800 cedis. He actually pleaded guilty when the matter went to the Kanishi District Court. So it was quite a straightforward issue. The court just proceeded to impose 1,800 cedi fine.
Well, the fine, we've had a number of people reacting to the fine. There are those who say that 1,800, I mean, it's a paltry amount, and that it wouldn't deter others, because
perhaps that's what the law stipulates. I mean, that's the maximum fine. Or Joseph?
It's a minor traffic offense, and for a traffic offense that someone has pleaded guilty, I mean, really not much, because obviously he didn't waste the state's time. We didn't have to put together resources to prosecute him, among other things. But I mean, definitely they could have gone from other charges in relation to this particular thing. Is that what is called
a felony?
Yeah, this one is just a misdemeanor, just a minor offense. I mean, so at best, what they could do was just either fine or custodial sentence, which will not even go beyond 3 years. Yeah. So months, or mostly it has the alternative of the fine. But I mean, the point really that people feel that it's not deterrent enough is because the claim is that there are other videos of him doing it in other parts of town. But I mean, hopefully this will be the last time we see that nice Mercedes-Benz do that in town.
All right, but the others too who say he probably just had a good lawyer, because those who say if it had been some other person, maybe someone who maybe didn't have a good lawyer, he probably may suffer a lot more than what this gentleman has.
Absolutely, and he obviously got good advice. I mean, for traffic offenses, it always makes sense to just go and plead guilty and just take. Let the judge or the magistrate give you the very least offense, because
really, do you have any other option than to plead guilty? Because really, the video is there, the evidence is there for everyone to see.
When you want to contest it, I mean, so assuming he had pleaded not guilty, would have meant that the state would have to tender in that video evidence. They would have to get an investigator to come and testify. They have other witnesses, so it will just waste the court's time. And so when the court eventually finds you guilty and they are going to sentence you, they are likely to go for the higher punishment, because obviously we've now been convinced that you are actually guilty, but the person admitting that alone, the judge sometimes have to be merciful, and so the lower sentence will be what will put across.
There's one other story on the front page of the finder that you mentioned. Will this end this all? And I want to have your take on that.
I mean, I think it's a significant step. I mean, it's taking far too long, and so the key issues that he's seeking to address in this proposed private members bill, one will be that they are going to separate some of the justices of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, especially the senior judges, who are part of the General Legal Council that regulates legal education. And inevitably, if a case comes to court, it may end up before them or their other colleagues. And so they are taking them out of the business. Then also giving the opportunity to various law faculties to be accredited. We don't expect to see all the law faculties getting accreditation to run their professional law course. But I mean, there are a few major faculties that have the capacity to do so. And so we can see more utilization of space. And so it may not be the final solution, because there are quality issues that also need to be addressed nonetheless. But at least with regards to the space issue, we can expect that to address the challenge to an extent. And so we may have more students being able to be admitted. But the immediate challenge is those 499 students, which the AG has been fighting Parliament over and saying that he is trying to intervene. We don't know what that intervention really is. And that is the pressing challenge that we don't seem to have a solution to now. All then right. Also, the point being made is that, I mean, hopefully the Speaker and all the other persons who have been very vocal on the other bills, like the anti-LGBT bill, will also be equally vocal and ensure that this bill also is given the needed attention.
Okay, let's go to the Ghanaian Times on the front page. Timber market fire victims count losses. AMA NADMO moving to assist. Adolescent girls anemia program suffers setback in Ingo Pram district. Aspirants kick against supplements for children. And MPA misses November 1 deadline to remove fuel levy as it awaits Parliament to legislate implementation. So that story is, I'm just bringing you a bit of that story somewhere in the, okay, so it's on page 15. It's of interest to a lot of people who would want to see fuel prices go down. So some commercial drivers and passengers have called on government to expedite work on the legislative processes to enable the removal of the price stabilization and recovery levies, PSRL, on petrol, diesel, and liquefied petroleum gas for a period of 2 months. The MPA last month announced the scrapping of the PSRL to mitigate the impact of rising prices on petroleum products on the world market on consumers with effect from November 1, 2021. Right. So this is what the MPA is saying, but there are others too who are saying that the MPA or government doesn't really need to go to Parliament to cushion of cushioning the prices, increasing prices of petroleum products, and that whatever has accumulated in the fund should be used to cushion consumers. But, well, it turns out our government still wants to go to Parliament to legislate that. Now, carnage on the road, 17 died. Oh, by the way, from the latest checks we're getting, even if the fuel levy is scrapped, you still see fuel price going up, except it's going to go up by a reduced margin. So carnage on the road, 17 died in ghastly accident, 16 others injured in head-on collision at Ofinso, Abofo. Keep getting these stories, and it's harrowing that people are going to lose their lives just because they got on the road
so
to travel
unnecessary.
to
Totally unnecessary.
from other place. On the back page, MESTI calls for protection of animal species. The Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Kwekwe Free, has urged Ghanaians to ensure the welfare of animal species across the country. And the Ghana Standards Authority undertakes expansion of NMI facility. In the center spread, Ghana Armed Forces applauds government for retooling military to enhance operational logistical capabilities. So that's that's it for the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, so let's turn our attention to the Daily Guide, and of course that story about
Daily Guide, and then we'll do My Joy Online.
Okay, sure. So the story on the lips of everybody right now about the Medina MP. It says Medina protest, so hot, hides under backbone cloth. And also that story about the Ofinso accident, 17 killed on Ofinso Road. And Israeli investor supports National Cathedral project. That's on page 9. So let's turn to page 9 and for details of that particular story. So what it says is that Lesco, a leading Israeli infrastructure company, has donated 1 million cedis, as Fifi Kumsi would say, 1 million Ghana cedis towards the construction of the National Cathedral project. Chairman of Lesco Ghana Limited, Engineer Yarif Brosh, on Monday was led by former Ghana ambassador to China, Dr. Farid Donko, to present the check for 1 million to the Board of Trustees to the National Cathedral Secretariat. So this is a big boost for the National Cathedral Secretariat. Also on page 3, let's go to page 3. Director, if you have page 3, let's show it to the people. So let's show the people page 3, the cartoon there.
Traffic galamsey.
Traffic galamsey. And this is very disturbing. I think this is something that the authorities must pick up. It is a picture or a cartoon of Israel. Describe it. Your best.
Right. So we have some babies. Momo. Pop.
So this is, the women who use their children to beg on the side of the road. Yes. And sometimes it's quite dangerous. You see the cars just whizzing by and then the children walking along the streets. I mean, this is very dangerous. And I think that the authorities must do well to, deal with the situation, because they're taking advantage of their children to, to make money out of this whole situation.
Ideally, we should be able to get all of these people off the streets.
That's the ideal. That's the ideal thing, but it's not been done.
All right.
So that's the Daily Guide for you.
Let's go to My Joy Online, shall we? So on the front page of My Joy Online, on the main page of My Joy Online, Juabing MC nominee bailed after arrest over alleged bribery. This is a very, very interesting story. Yes. And the videos that I found out with the MC saying that Ejimisika. They say I'm not. Some will say menye. Some will say menye.
Famisika mame.
Ejimisika. We'll bring you that story, but it's on the front page of. On the main page of My Joy Online. And then you don't gain admission to the law school through court of public opinion. That's Ansari saying that 17 dead in accident on Kumasi Techiman Road. Drama at Juabing Municipal Assembly as rejected MC nominee demands refund of bribe from assembly members. The Parliament should have invited GLC, not give them orders, Inusa Fuseni. And democracy works best when it's not threatened or coerced. Professor Ening on Juabing Municipal Assembly election. And tell your lies to Class 1 pupils. Sam George to IGP Dampari ACP Ofori.
Oh, why? What happened?
Then, I'm wondering. Atachia warns of grave consequences should government fight against anti-LGBTQI+ bill. Okay. Saud Dai MP Medina MP to sponsor private members' bill to amend Legal Professions Act. All right. So, yes, that'll be it for the news review. But I'll be bringing you the video of the MC. But before then, Joseph, thank you very much for joining us for the news review.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and have a wonderful day. And thank you to Araba for coming.
Of course, always a pleasure to be here. Let me use this opportunity to say a happy birthday to Stella Kumbe of our makeup department.
Okay.
Have a fabulous day, my dear.
Happy birthday to you. It was also the birthday of Najele.
Yesterday.
So belated. Happy birthday to you. All right. Oh, and Ivy Satoji.
And Ivy,
Ivy, was your birthday as well yesterday?
She hit the big 4-0.
Oh, wow.
Some sexy pictures.
Congratulations to you. So let's go with this video. Up next, we're actually bringing you sports. But before then, we'll bring you that video of the Drabbing MC nominee.
Who said this person? I'm a visitor. I'm a visitor. What is happening in some here? That way, oh, me the way. Oh, the sound is that. Oh, the sound is that. What is happening some here? What is happening some here? I have put himself with the young. What is happening some here? Oh, I chance of one into two. Who brought them here? What the town is? What does that come? You know me one airport. Foolish man like you. Who know me one airport. Sarah, I don't come up. For information center, I want to go what is the one who drive on the chat. What will punish you? Also, Bolani to go with you, but you must stand up for one person. And a criminal, what would you have fine? One man can find or some pennies. Let's stand out here. You bring it. Don't go there. Oh, I have the animal in Pesa. Like with Pesa. Oh, there. Put the neighbor for the time. Meaning, what I come for. Meaning, you what I come for. You are not a Pesa, so you're from fun. Who could never make the sound? I can't just what to say. You know what I come for. How much do you come up with me about Asia, não pode ser. Os pacientes são
The Ghana Football Association is still reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The football governing body could just make a paltry 300,000 Ghana cedis from the gates in the last Premier League campaign. But Executive Council member Dr. Tony Auburn insists their interest is the health of the football community. The Ghana Boxing Authority is set to earn 10 new national belts to boost the development of boxing in the country. And what was the key message from Ghana's Samson Dean that won him the Africa Paralympic elections? We have details shortly. Welcome to AM Sports with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. We start with the Ghana FA, where its president, Keto Kreko, says the football governing body is still struggling to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the association's 27th Congress, Mr. Kreko said the economy has been badly hit by the pandemic, making it difficult for companies to invest in football.
Economics or finance, obviously the pandemic has faced or affected every facet of the football ecosystem financially. I mean, I just spoke about the fact that we are engaging government and stakeholders to ensure that we could admit more fans to the stadium. That tells you that the pandemic also affected attendances at the stadium. I mean, in Africa, there's almost non-admission of fans to various stadia. The pandemic has affected companies. Companies are not having the needed resources to also invest in football. So it's been a very, very torrid time for the football industry. I would say that it's a surprise that clubs have survived up to now, and we've not had liquidation of clubs, etc., etc. But I think that it's also because the Football Association has worked closely with our clubs, we knowing each other, knowing what is happening and how to navigate ourselves out of this challenge. And I am super happy about the work that has been done so far. Super grateful to all the clubs for being patient through this challenging period and believing in the leadership of our Football Association.
Executive Committee member of the Ghana FA, Dr. Tony Urban, has defended the decision of the football governing body to introduce no vaccination, no entry policy to Ghana Premier League venues, despite the FA making a paltry 300,000 Ghana cedis from gate process last season. Dr. Urban said they are using football to encourage people to get vaccinated.
Just that one cannot gamble his health, his or her health, for pleasure, for example. So it is important that people who go to enjoy football do not put themselves at risk. I think that it is just to be cautious. I mean, it's a precaution. We want to consume the product of football, but we need to also take care of our health. COVID is not gone yet. It's not gone. I don't know whether it will ever go, but it is important that we take precautions so that we can consume our product whilst we feel safe, as far as our health is concerned.
I was privileged to have gone through your Congress document before the last week or 1.5 weeks. I noticed the FA did not even make 500,000 Ghana cedis from gate process. And that's quite disturbing. And if you're asking clubs that, or fans that you need to vaccinate before you come, isn't it quite disturbing that you need more numbers to come? You need to use the data to prove to potential partners that these are the numbers we have, these are the eyeballs we can guarantee you.
That's the issue. I mean, people think that the FA gets a lot of money, and you cannot be running football in a country just by relying on subventions that you receive from FIFA or elsewhere. And those subventions, oftentimes, they are linked to projects. FIFA brings money and says, this is what you have to use it for. And there's often no room for manipulations. So that's a challenge. But again, it is about deciding whether to play the matches without spectators or encouraging spectators to vaccinate. And in Ghana, and in fact globally now, vaccination is free. It is government calling people to go and vaccinate, and people saying, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it the next day. So what we're saying is that if you're a football fan, then please go and vaccinate so you can enjoy your product directly. Otherwise, you can only read it in the papers that your team lost or won. So it's an encouragement, it's a call to encourage Ghanaians and our football fans to take advantage of the vaccination process, and then just so they can go and watch them.
We talk boxing now, where the Ghana Boxing Authority is importing 10 new belts to boost the development of the sport in the country. Ghana has only 2 returnable national belts, and the move, according to Secretary General of the GBA, Patrick Johnson, is a desire of the new administration led by Abraham Kote Nikwe to grow the sport.
The new administration led by Abraham Kote Nikwe has planned on bringing in more title belts to enable boxers whenever they get wins and national title belts, they will, keep it. But for now, we just have 2 that is returnable, which when a boxer wins a national title belt, he will keep it for like a week or 2, then he will return it to the office. But now we've gone in for new ones, which are on its way coming, and very soon we are going to have 10 new national title belts that will be presented to every boxer who wins a title, and it's going to be for keep.
How worrisome has this been for the Ghana Boxing Authority? Because you have a key mandate of motivating boxers, and if for me to win a national title belt and you can keep it for just 1 week, I feel just maybe some boxers will be demoralized.
Not demoralized per se, but that is the situation we find ourselves into, and we are trying our possible best to, manage it and also go beyond it. That's the reason why I said from the beginning that although it wasn't all that good for National Boxing Authority, but the new administration now is going to rectify things and making sure that things are going to move forward, and boxing is going to be set at the top sporting discipline as well.
So how many belts are coming?
10 new title belts. And even it's supposed to be in, but it delayed in Dubai, but we've been able to rectify things, and very soon we are going to receive it. So now every boxer that wins the national title belt is going to keep it for good.
After more than a decade of David Ashon's administration, the Ghana Basketball Association over the weekend elected for itself a new set of executives. Atuvan E.S. faced off competition from Dr. Andrew Kwesi Kuma and is now the new president of the GBBA. There's more in the following report.
In total, 4 portfolios: President, Vice President Administration and Finance, Vice President Technical and Development Programs, and Treasurer were contested for. Team Van S, led by Atu Van S, was up against Team Kwesi Kuma, led by Dr. Andre Kwesi Kuma, and the former managed to grab all positions available. Alex Kukula was elected Vice President Administration and Finance. Idris Ayimbiri was elected Vice President Technical and Development, while Aurora Commodore Tupa, the only female executive, was elected Treasurer. New GBBA President Atu Van S expressed delight with being elected as Association President and signaled a desire to involve all in his agenda to extend the limits of the game in the country.
It's great, and it's great because it's not all about me or my the elected executives. It's about all stakeholders, including you, including everybody who has interest and who can develop basketball. So it's an all-inclusive development, and the feeling is great. Everybody is on board.
The GBBA for a decade has been unable to organize Congress, so after a successful organization over the weekend, Van S believes the bigger picture for basketball in the country is the association's ability to finally reorganize themselves.
In basketball, we see it this way, that basketball has won. We are not too much even going to go into the details of who won, how many votes did you get. No, we don't work like that. So we work in this way that we've been able to have a successful Congress. So we all sit down. And then we have plans. All the plans are scattered. Strategic plan here. These people have plans. This person has plans. This constituents. So we're going to consolidate all these plans. So 2 things: we consolidate all these plans to have one strategic plan for the next 5 years, and consolidate all the regional and scattered constitutions to also have one constitution. And that will serve as a guideline for all of us to move. Now, mind you, I always refer to you. I always point to you that we are all in it together. So we all sit down and get this room up. And this is going to be done within the next 2 months, because next we will start our year 1 from 2022. That's how we're planning. So this 22 months is going to be very hot for all of us, including you.
For 11 years, the David Ashon administration, which has led basketball in Ghana, has finally handed over to Atu Van S and his team of executives. Mr. Atu Van S, who is the new president of the association, tells us that he intends to start work right immediately to push the limits of Ghana basketball to even greater heights. Reporting for Joy Sports from the Accra Sports Stadium, my name is Michelle Kwesi-Kweno.
Now let's talk about Paralympics now, and President of the National Paralympics Committee, Samson Dean, has been elected the new head of the Africa Paralympics Committee at an ongoing General Assembly in Rabat, Morocco. Samson Dean polled 24 of the total votes cast, beating Morocco's Hamid Al-Ouni, who polled just 15. Mr. Dean replaces the outgoing APC boss, Leonel Da Rocha Pinto, who has been in charge for 13 years. He's been speaking to Joy Sports about the message that won him the elections.
Well, I feel happy, but I need to end the celebration and focus on working. I've been overwhelmed by the situation. I first of all want to give thanks to the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. His government has done so well to make sure that Ghana achieve this status on the African continent. the victory is not for me, but it's for the president of the land. His government made sure that I will get the needed support required by a government to make sure that this victory is chalked on the soil of Morocco. In fact, they sent a delegation and led by the Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports. And I would say, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf has done really a great job. This is the kind of leadership we need in Ghana. Leadership that will focus on good things for the country. My promise and assurances to Africans are clear. As I said in front of delegates, I told them a vote for Samson Dean is a vote for leadership. I am born to lead, and I have examples to prove. They know what I can do. In fact, at Congress, they attest to the fact that all motions that I supported won, because we knew that we needed those changes in our constitution and in our Paralympic movement in Africa. You need to study the terrain and understand what really is the message. Our message won.
Now let's talk about the UEFA Champions League, where the matches will be happening later tonight. The likes of Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Chelsea is going to be in action. It's the opposite of what happened just a couple of weeks ago. So tonight is Malmo FF. They'll be hosting Chelsea. Wolfsburg will also sit at home and host Real Bull Salzburg. Atalanta will play Manchester United. Bayern Munich will come against Benfica. Dynamo Kiev will host struggling Barcelona. Juventus will sit at home and come up against Zenit St. Petersburg. And Sevilla will come up against Lille. Villarreal will also come up against Young Boys. These are the fixtures for tonight's UEFA Champions League. That's our time for AM Sports with me, Muftau Nabila Abdaba. We do have more sports stories to share with you on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your company.
This morning, we are also focusing on the 2022 budget, as has been the convention in the last few years. The finance minister will be going to Parliament before the end of the year to put before the legislature the 2022 budget. That is usually preceded by consultations with various groups who make input. Graphic Business and Stanbic Bank have also in the last few years organized these breakfast meetings regularly, with some of them focused on insights and recommendations for the budget. There's one happening this morning. That's a live feed from the venue, and Joy News will be bringing you live coverage here on the AM show. The speakers include Dr. Priscilla Chumesi Barfor, Senior Lecturer at Department of Economics, University of Ghana, Dr. Randolph Inso Ambala, Financial Consultant and Senior Lecturer, GEMPA, and Dr. Abdallah Ali Nachia, Senior Lecturer, School of Law, University of Ghana. We'll also talk about the Joabing MCE saga. And then there was an accident that killed 17 people. Now, all these before we go to the Labadi Beach Hotel for the Graphic Business and Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. Right now, let's cross over to Erastus Asaria Donko, who is joining us via Zoom with the very latest on the story. So, Erastus, we'll start with the accident that saw 17 people die, 17 people perish. It's yet another harrowing story of road carnage that's claiming people every day. Erastus, what's the very latest on that?
Well, as you put it, Israel is very, very gory, and it's sad that it involves many children, in fact 10 of them from 6 months to 3 years, who were with their mothers, being transported from Kumasi. Some of these mothers who died, 6 of them were head porters who have gone to hustle in Kumasi, got some few things, and were returning to Techiman. And one man also died in the process. 16 others, as we speak, are receiving treatment in various conditions. St. Patrick Hospital of Finso. Now, we are told, and if you go, when we went to the scene, we saw tire marks on the street indicating where this articulated track was heading from Techiman Kintampo end of the highway. This is a curve at the Abofor forest. And so the two of them were negotiating the curve. But you could see where the articulated track started veering off its road. And as police put it by their preliminary investigation, and the tire mark indicate right on the road, veering off his lane, entering into the sprinter bus's lane and hitting it right there, dragging it across the road into the bush there. And so police say they think that from preliminary investigations, he might have been dozing off and was caught unawares, hitting the sprinter that way. So that is what we know for now and what we found at the scene of the accident.
So we know that 10 children, the number of people who died, 17 people, but 10 of them were children. And then we're also learning that a number of them are injured. What's their situation now?
Well, as of yesterday in the evening, though they were in a critical condition, they were responding to treatment according to the police and the doctors. As of yesterday, they were still monitoring them to see if anybody needs urgent attention or different kind of treatment that will require that they are transferred to Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. So this morning, we're going to check on them again to find out how they are feeling today.
Do we know if the wreckage has been pulled off the road yet?
As we were leaving the accident scene yesterday, we saw that the articulated track was still there by the roadside. It's been dragged off the main road onto the side of the curb.
Right, it looks like we have lost Erastus on the line, on that Zoom connection there. But let's go back to Erastus' report that he put together of the accident.
For the people of Offenso and its environs, 17 people have lost their lives, perished today, right here at this spot. This place is called Abofor Forest or Abofor Camp, and it sits straight on the Offenso Techiman Kintampo stretch, all the way here. Now, if you see where this articulated track sits, and you can see the marks on the road, it started veering off its lane. When it was coming in from the Techiman end, it veered off its lane right here, met the sprinter bus and crashed into it, forced it over to that end, killing 17 people, including 10 children, 6 women, and 1 man. Now, as we speak, 16 people are battling for their lives at the St. Patrick's Hospital in Offenso. So the information we gather from eyewitnesses indicate that these are predominantly traders, head porters who are heading in from Techiman, Kintampo, and its environs to trade, make a living in Kumasi. Now, we are also learning from the police that preliminary investigations have revealed that indeed the driver of this articulated truck might have been dozing off, and that is why it veered off its lane, crashed into the sprinter, killing these people. We have been speaking with Divisional Police MTTD Commander for Offenso, DSP Edmond Nyameche.
17 were confirmed dead when we go to the hospital, and then 16 of the passengers currently are injured, sustained severe injury, and are receiving treatment at St. Patrick's Hospital, Offenso.
Now, police are urging caution, and they are advising drivers, especially those who ply this long stretch to Kintampo, Techiman, and its environs, to rest when they are tired and avoid overtaking, among others.
Drivers drive long distance. They are supposed to take rest, and they don't take rest. You'll be very tired, and at a point, you will not know what you are even doing. You can't be focused. In this particular accident, we are believing that the driver dozed off. That is why he lost control and then moved from his lane to the other lane. So, in fact, these are some of the factors that caused accident. In fact, the drivers that drive long distance should be able to take rest. Because if the drivers were two, it would have been okay. But this is the case. Most of these long distance drivers are single drivers. So after driving for some hours, at least I think the regulation is 4. At least 4 hours, you need to take rest.
It is yet to be seen whether drivers will take heed with this advice. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Offenso, Abofo in the Ashanti region.
All right, so Erastus is back with us. Erastus, thank you very much for that report and for joining us to highlight the issues once again. And as the police keep saying, if you get tired on the road, you're supposed to take a rest. Because if you don't take that rest, you lose focus. And the next thing you know, you're claiming the lives of people. 17 people have died, simply because someone on the road was reckless, or maybe he was tired. We don't have the details yet, but that's what the police is indicating. Thank you very much, Erastus.
Thank you very much, Israel.
All right. So the other issue has to do with the incident or what's happening at Joburg, where the MCE nominee, the president's MCE nominee, is said to have bribed some of the assembly members. This is an issue that has come up in many of the assemblies, but it turns out that in this particular instance, he is caught on video actually saying that he is demanding that money back. The very latest we have on that story is that the police got him arrested and he has been granted bail. But before we bring you the police statement on the arrest and he being granted bail, let's go to that report.
Ena mfumso eba ne nchen samaye obi abone na samafum obi a ende den.
In the first election to confirm the nominee, Alex Safo Kantanka, only 5 of 26 ballots cast were in his favor. The election was subsequently postponed for various reasons after the president renominated him for the second time. The nominee in the second election could garner only 10 votes out of the total 26, with 1 being rejected. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah, who had earlier called on the members to put behind all misgivings against the nominee, expressed his disappointment. One of the assembly members, Patrick Yeboah, claims he was assaulted by the nominee outside the conference room after the election. He was prevented from retaliating. Supporters of the nominee massed up at the assembly grounds, threatening to assault all assembly members locked up in the building.
This is serious, so they are not allowing the regional minister to go.
The police had to whisk away the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, from mob action. Representative of the Ashanti Caucus of MPs, Emmanuel Ejay Anshe, was also assaulted by the mob. Here are some of the persons in support of the nominee.
We are very disappointed because the whole constituency executives wrote a letter approving the
nomination of Chamaluta to the president. So when we heard about those things on radio, we were surprised. And the rumors that we have been hearing that the MP is behind all these things.
The nominee around the same period went into the Assembly's conference room where the members were gathered in demand of refund of alleged money paid to the Assembly members. The police intervened to march out the nominee.
Though police have surrounded the building, the Assembly members are unwilling to come out. From Jabin, for Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
So that's what happened at Jabing. Now, the police have moved in swiftly and he was arrested. The MC nominee was arrested. He has since been granted bail. This is the statement that was put out by the police. So, says the Ashanti Regional Police yesterday, November 1, 2021, arrested the Municipal Chief Executive nominee for Jabing in the Ashanti region to assist police investigations. The arrest was in connection with the viral video of the nominee, Mr. Alexafo Kantanka, allegedly demanding a refund of some sums of money he had allegedly paid to Assembly members to vote for his confirmation as the MCE for the Jabin municipal area. After his investigation, caution statement was taken. Mr. Alexafo Kantanka was granted bail. Police investigations continue and we would like to assure the public that anyone who breaks the law will be arrested and subjected to due legal process since no one is above the law. And this is signed by Alexander Kweku Obeng, Superintendent, Director, Public Affairs. All right, so joining us on phone now is Frederick Ijakun Udru. He's the Dean, Studies and Research Institute of the Local Government Studies. Good morning and thank you very much, Mr. Udru, for making time to speak with us. So we have been hearing of these allegations of people being paid money so that they can confirm MCs and DCs. Now it turns out that we actually have something on tape, or at least we have someone, an MCE nominee, who's claiming that he wants to take back his money. And the police have intervened in the matter. Now this has gotten... this will likely be the first time we're actually having this being prosecuted, right?
Well, I mean, well, there's one of the few we've had. I think Cape Coast is a typical example also. We had Assembly members coming out to say they took some money. So it comes back. I mean, if you can recall, we had a discussion on your network you were hosting.
Yes.
And I warned that is going to happen because it's a recurring problem. But this is pure crime. I mean, it's a case of bribery, and it is criminal in nature. And I'm extremely happy to have the police taking the proactive step to cause the arrest of the nominee. And I am hoping it will be taken to its logical conclusion. Because if we don't stop this, it affects our governance at the local level so bad. But over the years, we have pretended it doesn't exist. But now, evidences are coming out to show that indeed this is happening. I mean, there was a case in Tamale that somebody also said some people have taken the money and they still fail to vote. All of these issues must be investigated so that we can root this out of our local governance.
Indeed, what sort of sanctions are you looking at? Indeed, the police is supposed to investigate. At this point, we understand it's an allegation. The police is supposed to investigate. But beyond that investigation, what would you propose that the president do about this?
No, I mean, beyond this, I think I'm sounding almost like a broken record. I believe we need to look at the reforms. I think a better alternative, although that is not beyond some of these things, is to go for a universal adult suffrage. That is direct election of chief executives at the district level. I believe if we start doing that, it will reduce the You see, if you have a small pool of people, I mean, an electoral college selecting people, the number is smaller, so it is easier to corrupt the system. But if you expand it, although some people will still find means of fleecing the system or, bringing corrupt practices into the system, you reduce the incidences of, you can't, for instance, take Accra. If you have AME and you have a big population of over 200,000 voters or even more, how can you go and pay to these voters to influence them? Maybe at some point in the chain, there could be that challenge of corrupt practices. But at least you remove it to a large extent when you have a bigger number of people involved in the process. So I think that is one option as a country we need to take. And the earlier we take it, the better. Because I hope we don't go and come back to this system in another 4 years. And maybe, God willing, we are alive and we will be discussing the same thing over and over again. So I think we can't keep on doing the same thing, thinking anything will change. But the prosecution, if there is a prosecution, that will also go a long way. But I believe even when we get these prosecutions, people are going to go underground. They'll be doing it, but next time, whether there's a fallout or not, they will not come out to complain as they are doing now.
Now, Mr. Odro, we have been talking about these things and the allegations have been flying and been making the rounds all this while. This is the case where we have something on tape. Are we not being hypocritical by, focusing on this one and pretending this thing doesn't involve or doesn't go beyond just the MC nominee? Because we've heard allegations that it's not just an MC nominee who's bribing. There are people who are getting involved and bribing just about everybody else to make sure that they whip all the assembly members in line. Should we just be focusing on just the nominee?
You see, when it comes to the case of bribery, I want to call it bribery as it is. People have tried to use in all sorts of terms, transport, whatnot. If it comes to the pure case of bribery, let us focus on it and deal with it. But you see, in an election, the process involves an election. If there are people who are trying to canvass for votes, I don't have any qualms about that. If you are canvassing for votes without inducing the people with any consideration, I don't have any problem. That should be allowed in any democracy. So that by itself is not wrong. Of course, you can also compel. If there is an incident of somebody compelling, then that one too must be condemned. For instance, there are reported cases of maybe intimidation by military or police to compel people to vote in one way or the other. That one is very highly condemnable, and we shouldn't encourage it. It's unacceptable in any democracy. However, if somebody is going around, no matter how high or low the person is, to convince people that please vote for this person, that one, there is no compulsion. There's no, they are not being compelled. So we can't take that one as bad in a democracy. However, sometimes some of these nominees may not even be the actual people giving the money. They may send emissaries or other parties, or even people who are interested in the nominee's position may be the ones encouraging some of these. All that is criminal, and we should treat it as such. If we are able to do that, I think we can overcome the challenge.
Very much, Frederick Ejakun Odro. He's a Dean Studies and Research Institute of Local Government Studies. You're here on the AM show, and pretty shortly we'll be going over to the Labadi Beach Hotel, where we're having the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. And we'll be bringing you live coverage as I indicated. We're taking a quick break and we will be back with you.